Well, good morning, my friend. Welcome to the Pastor's Podcast. Sorry about the last couple of days not being able to have a live podcast. I've been out of sync the last couple of days. I was at a camp and not a great signal there for me to be able to get this done. And so here we are today, back home. Had a great service last night in church. And as we continued a series on the Christian home, talked about influences of the home, and it was certainly very helpful for those who are there. And I hope that you're faithful to wherever you go. And I appreciate you stopping by all the time. I had some asking, where have you been? And I was just down in the state of Texas preaching at a camp there for a couple of preacher friends of mine, and had a good meeting there, and looking forward to being back home today, going out soul winning this morning, and then getting some meetings done today and getting ready for the weekend as we continue to try to serve the Lord and do what's right, and excited about that. Well, today I want to talk about being gathered one by one. And Isaiah 27:12, the scripture says, "And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall beat off from the channel of the river unto the stream of Egypt, and ye shall be gathered one by one, O ye children of Israel." Now, the redemption of Israel would not have been as easy as some would think. God said that the gathering of Israel would be done, notice now, one by one. In other words, Israel would be brought back together by getting one person at a time. Now, it would not be a quick gathering, but it would be a gathering that, if they were patient with the process, would see a great gathering. Now, one of the secrets to building anything is patience in the process. A bus route is not built overnight. It's built by getting one person at a time to ride your bus. A Sunday school class is not built quickly, but is built one by one. A church does not grow into a large church quickly, but it grows one by one. Now, you have to understand that's how we grow things. I was talking to one of ministry workers before our Saturday soul winning meeting. They were talking about the bus route, and they were becoming a little bit impatient with the growth of the route. And I asked them, I said, "Do you know how to fill your bus by the end of the year?" And they looked at me and they're a bit strange, and they said, "Well, how do I do it, preacher?" I told them, this is what I said. I said, add one new rider a week, every week. And by the end of the year, you'll have 52 new riders on your bus. I told them that if they did this, they'd likely have one of the biggest bus routes in our church. You see, this is a secret to gathering a large crowd so you can spread the gospel in a much greater way. We've got to go one by one. Now, I want to give you 4 thoughts about gathering one by one. One, you can't be content with not gathering if you're going to gather. So too many have the wrong mindset about growth. You'll never lead anyone to Christ if you're just content with giving out gospel tracts and nothing else. You have to witness to people, my friend, and lead them to Christ so people can get saved. You are sure not to grow if you do not look to add to what you have. I would simply put it this way. If you're not adding, you're dying. Always keep that mindset. You always have to add, because if you don't, then you die. I tell people often, a church that maintains is growing. You know why? People are constantly leaving, which means you have to add to keep the numbers from going down. So if you're just maintaining, you're growing. But we want to do more than that. We want to add to the number that we have. We want to multiply. That's what we want to do. So you can't be content with not gathering. Second, you'll never get the hundreds or thousands if you don't go after the one. So thousands are made of hundreds. Hundreds are made of tens, and tens are made of ones. So one person is critical to getting 100 people, and 100 people is critical to getting 1,000 people. You see, each one that you get is how you grow into a larger church. Instead of trying to get the big crowd all at one time, get one a week. And you'll find that the one you grow will grow into hundreds. Third, your perspective of gathering is what makes it seem possible. The way to keep from becoming impatient is to see that you can get there by going after people one by one. Getting to a certain number is relatively easy when you break down what you're trying to do. So there are 804 apartments in our Oklahoma City metro area. If I can get 2 people per apartment complex to come to my church, I'll be running 1,600 in church. That's how I do it. That's how you do it. So it's simply perspective that lets you realize that the big goal is reachable. Fourth, you won't gather a great crowd if you don't stay to get the great crowd. So it takes time to gather a big crowd, but you only get there without, you will only get there without you won't get there without gathering one by one. You never gather the hundreds or the thousands if you're not willing to stay where you are for decades. It is possible for God to do something mighty in your ministry, but you have to be willing to stay for decades as you gather people one by one. My friend, this is a secret to growing a Sunday school class. Imagine if every Sunday school class. Now, I want you just to think with me if you can. So in my church, we have 31 Sunday school classes. Let's say every class just decided, I'm going to gain one a week, just one a week. Well, that's 52 times 31 that we're adding to our church. That's a lot of people that you add right there. Understand that's about 1,500 that you add to a church just by adding one a week per Sunday school class. My friend, the idea of growth is not a real difficult thing. We just have to go one by one. If everybody would just say, I'm going to grow my ministry one at a time. Every week, I want to get one new person, one more person add. Now, we understand they're all not going to be faithful all the time. That's why you don't run that number. But as you grow that number that you're reaching one by one, the base crowd begins to grow, and your church grows, your Sunday school class grows, your ministry, your bus route grows. But you do it by adding one by one. Don't be discouraged by getting the one, as long as you're getting the one every week. My friend, you keep going after the one. Every week, say, I've got to have one more to church, one more in my Sunday school class, one more on my bus route, one more as a visitor to church. We just keep going one by one, and that's how you grow a great crowd. That's how you multiply. Just keep going one by one. If everybody in every church would just say, I'm going to get one a week, every church would grow, and you don't have to compromise to do this. You just keep going after the lost. Now, here's the problem. Some people are too lazy. Some people don't want to do the work. They want to play all the time. A lot of preachers out there playing way too much. Preacher, if you're going to play, get out of the ministry. There are souls at stake. Some of you preachers need to decide, am I going to build a playground, or am I going to build a church? Hell's a real place. I'm talking to preachers that never go soul winning. And they want to call themselves, they think they're smart. They're not that smart. If they were smart, they go soul winning. He that winneth souls is wise. That means he that winneth souls is not wise. That doesn't win souls is not wise. So the guys who really think they're smart and never go soul winning, they're not wise. God calls them fools. Why? Because there's a real heaven and a real hell. So let's go after one by one. Let's reach them. Let's get them into the church. Let's grow our churches by reaching people. We can reach this world if we just go one by one. Well, my friend, I hope this is a help to you today. Now, let's remember today, be good to everyone. Everyone's having a tough time. Have a great day, my friend.